I'm very positive. Obviously, I think we go well through new all-time highs. I think the whole ecosystem of crypto, we go from 425 million users where we are today. I think the end of this cycle will be 1 billion users by the kind of use cases we've talked about. Don't forget, we've got CBDC, stable coins. There's a lot going on still. So, if the entire space is going to grow 2.5x in number of users, well, market cap of the entire space is 5 or 10x.
Renowned macro guru and founder of Real Vision, Raoul has been talking about the unmistakable connection between the business cycle, global liquidity, and cryptocurrency cycles for some time. The former Goldman Sachs executive believes the 4-year crypto cycles, by design or pure coincidence, align perfectly with the global liquidity cycle, which is often driven by the policies and activities of central banks. Powell explains that crypto prices often drop noticeably when there is a drop in liquidity and economic activities. And as things begin to improve on the macro side, prices pick up and the industry is again full of life. Powell says we are heading right for one of those moments when liquidity conditions pick up and crypto prices see a complete transformation. According to the former Goldman Sachs executive, central banks that are still tightening, such as the U.S. Federal Reserve, are about to get a rude awakening in only a matter of weeks. During the year's final quarter, Powell is predicting that these apex banks, especially the Federal Reserve, will get a big shock when they realize their respective economies can't take more rate hikes and further tightening. The Real Vision chief executive is predicting a pause in rate increases, the end of quantitative tightening, and finally, rate cuts, and he believes all this will become reality before the second half of next year. Powell is also predicting a massive increase in the demand for cryptocurrencies, especially between next year and 2025. With the demand will, of course, come some massive price gains. According to the popular macro analysts, these gains will be so massive that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin will easily surpass their current all-time highs. We will now bring you clips from Raoul Pal's recent interview with Altcoin Daily, during which he discusses his assessment of the current conditions of the crypto market, his predictions for 2024, and his winning investment advice for every cryptocurrency investor. Please watch the video to the end, smash the like button, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks and enjoy the video.
My take has been everything's quiet right now. We've got very little liquidity coming into the crypto market or the traditional markets. We've got the central bank still tightening, so there's just less money around. So even you've seen that the positive narratives, and there's been a lot of positive news in crypto, hasn't really driven price. Because the other thing is, we're not bringing many new people in yet. And there's a lot of supply on the market from, Mt. Gox, government stuff, FTX. And that just weighs on the market when there's no new people coming in. We're seeing it in traditional markets as well. There's just not a lot going on. It's kind of very summer feeling about it, drifting around, not that many people participating. You can see it on Twitter, you can see it in other places. Just engagement in the space is pretty low, but people have forgotten the space is up 50 to 100% this year. It's very quick to forget in crypto, unless it's up 300%, we don't care. So you have to take it, crypto is still the best performing asset class in the world this year. But we kind of feel miserable about it because it's gone sideways or down since April, let's say. So overall, my view is that the central bank is likely to start to see inflation falling and unemployment rising and economic growth slowing or staying slow. And so that means for the back end of the year, the more likely outcome is they stop raising rates. Okay, that's plus point number one. B, if the bond yields keep rising as they've been doing, they'll probably stop quantitative tightening at some point. That'll be a plus number two. And then if inflation starts falling below 2%, which I think it will do towards the end of the year, they'll cut rates as well. So that's plus point number three. So that shifts the kind of liquidity cycle as it brings us into 2024. Now, 2024 is not only will we see, so all of my forward-looking stuff about inflation and unemployment, rents, those kind of things, they should continue to come lower. So that means the central bank now has the excuse to cut because they need to refinance all of this debt that they've got. And there's trillions of this stuff, and they can't refinance it at 5.5%. Just it's mathematically impossible almost. So really what I think they're trying to do is make it so they overshoot to the downside, so then they can cut and do the necessary things. Also, 2024 is an interesting year because it's an election year. So we tend to get more stimulus, whether it's government handing out money. There tends to be more money around to bribe voters. So I'm very positive on the last quarter of this year. I think it'll be volatile let's say until October, and then we should have a good run going through. And then I'm very positive on 2024. Now, none of these things will go in a straight line, but generally the first year of crypto spring looks like this. It goes up a reasonable amount, but it's choppy and sloppy and people don't really buy into the story. Then the next year of crypto is when spring turns into summer. We tend to have a good year, not ridiculous year, but a good year. And then the year after that, we tend to have a ridiculously good year. So that's generally how things have played out. I think that's based on a macro cycle. I think that's how it's going to play out this time. You know, does it go down and then up and then down? I don't know. But what's the probability that the space is significantly higher in 10 years, knowing what we know, knowing that the financial system wants to use it and all the brands that want to use it, and that the central banks want to issue central bank digital currencies and stable coins are being adopted around the world? The probability of this being much higher is extremely high. Just focus on that.
Despite the bear market and low prices, there's been a flurry of activities and huge announcements in the cryptocurrency industry this year. The latest is the recent announcement by credit card service corporation Visa that it is introducing settlement of the USDC stable coin over the Solana network. According to the payments giant, the partnership with Solana will improve the speed of cross-border settlement and provide a modern option for clients to easily send or receive funds from Visa Treasury. After the announcement, Solana prices climbed by over 6%. The leading Ether rival remains one of the most successful cryptocurrencies of 2023, with a 101% year-to-date increase. In previous interviews, Pal has described Solana as one of the most likely to succeed out of all the tokens that have been touted as Ether killers. Let's get back to the interview as Pal gives his views on Solana and the biggest crypto trends to look forward to in 2024.
So I observe the space, kind of try and step back from it, because too many people get too involved with what they like because they like it and they're part of that thing. But I just observe Solana, and I think I've mentioned in the show before, is like, I see Tolly as a thought leader. He's accepting of others around him. He builds bridges, doesn't destroy them. I see a very engaged developer community, and people are really, really passionate about building their ecosystem and building their technology. And there's a lot of people who use it, and there's a lot of public awareness of the chain. Why Visa using Solana? It's because it's fast. You know, it's fast. It does a good job. It's not Ethereum. It's different to Ethereum. And even the way that Tolly has been talking about, you know, could Sol be a layer 2 on ETH? Or, you know, how do these worlds integrate? Just shows that, you know, for Visa to make a wrong decision is not that easy, because things can be bridged, things can be interoperable, life can move on. So, you know, I've just been observing that, and that the Solana space has not put a foot wrong for a long time now, just when everybody had maximum fear and hate over the space. Now, also, you're getting rid of the FTX overhang. You know, the thing that people didn't like is that FTX was such a big owner of, well, that goes as well. So for me, it's still a great story. It's still probably the best major story in the space outside of Ethereum, because Ethereum's the big daddy. But if we're looking at the next stage down, you know, where's the next altcoin that has relative security? And you're not taking a wild guess. You're not saying, yeah, helium's going to go up 1000x. You might be right, might be wrong. But Solana, if the space grows, will Solana do well? Probably. It's a smaller chain, so $100 of capital in Solana will move the price more than $100 of capital in ETH versus $100 of capital. So its liquidity drives it higher, and the higher it goes up, obviously, the more people are interested in the chain as well. So it feels the right thing.
Besides the Bitcoin halving in 2024, what do you think are going to be some strong use cases or narratives that people are going to be excited about?
I think it's going to be the applications layer. It's what can you do with NFTs that is not monkey JPEGs or fine art? What else could you do? How does ticketing work? How do these broader use cases? How's the financial system going to integrate? We're seeing lots of noise from the financial system. You know, the two big parts of adoption for me is the financial system and brands and culture. So the financial system, we know they're sniffing around. Every single investment bank, every single asset management firm, you know, London Stock Exchange has just announced that they've got a group working on tokenizing securities. What people want to do is get get securities on chain because it's a faster, more efficient, capital effective way of doing things. So I think that's what they all want to get to. So that's huge. That's trillions of dollars that flows through those markets. The other side is brands and culture and that kind of stuff. So that's sports, entertainment, fashion, luxury, that kind of stuff, plus music. Those are the big cultural pillars of our societies, and they have a lot of opportunity to use this. And we're seeing it from everybody from Starbucks to Nike to Adidas to Chanel to, Balenciaga to Mercedes-Benz to, so I think they're all trying it, testing out things. But if Formula One would get it right with NFTs in some sort of kind of cool format that's not just an NFT, but gives you unlocks and does different things, well, there's a 1.6 billion Formula One fans. What happens if football got it right? Soccer. There's like, I don't know, 3 billion fans. So these things are massive. So it's those two that I've got my eye on. What those applications are going to be, I don't know. Are we ready with all of the wallets and all of the basic stuff that we need? We're getting close.
During the interview, Powell also discusses what he believes will be a winning investment strategy for all cryptocurrency investors. According to the Goldman Sachs executive, ensure you do your due diligence on every token and coin before you invest. He adds that while it's generally safe to invest in and stick with the top 5 cryptocurrencies, you should only invest in small tokens when you have adequate insight into the project's true offering. For such small projects, everything and anything could go wrong. But that's not the case for the bigger crypto assets like Bitcoin and Ether. According to Raoul Pal, as long as central banks keep printing money to offset their massive debt expenses and periodically roll over their debts, Bitcoin and other leading crypto assets will always remain your best bet against currency devaluation and debasement. What are your thoughts on Raoul Pal's interview? Are you as convinced as he is that the next cycle will begin in this last quarter and be massively bullish for the entire cryptocurrency industry? Please drop your predictions, comments, and observations in the comments section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.